The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering weekly fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling Live as seen on Spike TV. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio with your host, Lee Sanders.
A very good Thursday night to you, boys and girls. What's up? Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders, coming at you with an all-new Impact Showdown live radio on June 6, 2013. Just a couple of minutes past the 11 o'clock hour over here on the East Coast. Impact Wrestling went into a little bit of OT there, trying to compete with that NBA Finals Game 1. For those of you that are not in front of the TV tonight and you're looking for a score update on that, it is the fourth quarter. Last I checked, about 7 minutes plus change left. Miami Heat is beating the San Antonio Spurs. I believe I saw 79 to 76. I know I'll definitely do my best to give you guys the latest updates on that throughout the episode tonight. And correction, it's actually 73 to 76. And once again, I'll give you guys the updates on that throughout the night. But the Heat is beating the Spurs 76 to 73. We have the chat room disabled tonight as all attention went to our live version of Impact Showdown for YouTube, and apparently they're once again having a little bit of hiccup problems over there with their servers. I tried for a couple of hours to see about fixing the issue, but it's definitely nothing at our end. It's a problem with Google Hangouts, so unfortunately we're not able to do a live version for you guys. We know you guys enjoy that. Hopefully we can do the radio version as much justice tonight. So let's go on ahead and let's just run right through it, man. So tonight was basically the aftermath of Impact Wrestling, the aftermath of the TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view is what I was trying to say, as this is what tonight's Impact Wrestling episode had dealt with. Of course, we definitely need to just get one thing off the break, which is the way that main event match had ended at Slammiversary. I know there were so many of you that were just highly upset with the finish to that match. And this is true. I did not comment on what went down on the initial post-show. And I sat on it for a reason, because I started thinking to myself quietly, what if this is a storyline in itself? What if this is a scenario where Sting is possibly going to be looking to the TNA roster to wonder why nobody came to help him when he needed help the most? That's part of what I was thinking. So that's why I didn't attack it right then and there when we saw what went down in that Slammiversary main event. And I know many of you were very vocal about that, and it looks like TNA Wrestling, they tried to explain that tonight, as Sting had put out a tweet basically saying how he was all alone at Slammiversary. Message heard loud and clear. He is supposed to be returning to Impact Wrestling next week to address his future in the company. So, should be some very interesting words from the icon Sting, and first inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame. But I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about that. I know we're going to be doing a remix version of this on YouTube, so you're more than welcome to post your comments on there. You're also more than welcome to send us your tweets on Twitter. Hit us up at Infinity One Prod. Also, our show handle at the RCWR Show. 2 options for you right there. You can also send them our way via Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Give it a like while you are there. If it's storming pretty bad in your neck of the woods, I know there's some parts over here on the East Coast that's going to be feeling the effects of a storm for the next several hours, and you're having problems in front of your computer, what have you, try to hop on your cell phone. Hope you don't get electrocuted, but push come to shove, hop on your cell phone, put it on speaker. You can call in, listen to the show that way. Number to call is always 646-478-3525. Once again, 646-478-3525. Kick on back and listen if you're having problems in front of your browser, desktop, laptop tonight. All right, so, we saw the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Bully Ray, come out to kick off Impact Wrestling, just basking in the glory with the fact that he is still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, although he wouldn't be able to celebrate that long, as TNA General Manager Hulk Hogan, brother, came out and told him that he was going to be in a main event match tonight against the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy. And I'm glad he shaved that Thor-like beard off. I was getting a little irritated looking at that beard. I've never, in all my years watching Jeff Hardy, I've never seen him grow a beard. I mean, a log cabin beard. That was just disgusting what he had at the Slammiversary pay-per-view. I was glad he shaved that bad boy off. This wasn't any type of main event match, though, to close out Impact. This was actually a ladder match where hanging above the ladder in the middle of the ring. No, not the TNA World Heavyweight title, as the belt wasn't on the line tonight. It was actually a hammer. And trying to give Jeff Hardy a little bit of payback is what Hulk Hogan was trying to do. Remember when Bully Ray had used that hammer on Jeff Hardy? I believe that was at the Genesis pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, where Bully Ray had became the champion. If I'm wrong on that, somebody definitely correct me. My memory can be a little fuzzy at times. But remember, we had saw Jeff Hardy pretty much get attacked right there, and then I believe he got attacked one more time on an episode of Impact Wrestling that put him out for about 2 months. So Jeff Hardy had an opportunity to get a little bit of retribution. Great main event match to close out Impact Wrestling. As grand total, we only had about 5 matches, give or take. And we actually saw Bully Ray prevail in that one. It was kind of funny, though, because in the final few seconds of the match, Jeff Hardy had ended up, no. Bully Ray, now that I think about it, Bully Ray didn't come out on top in that match. If anything, he ran like a punk-ass bitch, now that my memory serves me correctly. As in the final few seconds of the bout, we actually saw Jeff Hardy climb up to the top of the ladder. He successfully was able to grab the hammer, and then he was getting ready to go to town on Bully Ray. And I've never seen Bully Ray move so damn fast in his life, as he didn't want to even have that match go to its conclusion. As soon as he saw Hardy with that mini hammer, he just hauled ass. Jeff Hardy tried to give chase, but it looked like his hip had gave out on him, and referees were checking on him. You go to a backstage segment, however, we see Bully Ray. He was very concerned about his TNA championship, as he was not trying to leave the ring without it. At the same time, he's trying to catch his breath. And we see Hulk Hogan with a hammer of his own, just slowly, like a vulture, creeping up behind Bully Ray, and he's getting ready to attack him with that hammer when all of a sudden we hear the scream of a woman saying, "Dad, no," of course, that belonging to Brooke Hogan, and we see Bully Ray just have a ghost look on his face as he realized just how close he came to being taken out by the immortal Hulk Hogan. Bully Ray just speechless and just runs out the arena as Hulk Hogan and Brooke Hogan, they just have a quiet look on their faces. I can just imagine what was probably going through the mind of Hulk Hogan. God damn you, why the hell did you cock block that moment? I had him right where I wanted him. It's obvious right here that Brooke Hogan, she still has strong feelings for Bully Ray, and it looks like the way that they're definitely doing this storyline-wise is that it looks like Brooke is probably going to try to help Bully Ray where it counts the most. Maybe she's going to try to see if she can bring him back over to the good side. But at the same time, maybe this could also be a scenario where Bully Ray realizes that Brooke still has feelings, strong feelings at that for him, and tries to exploit that to his advantage in future title matches. That's just the way I'm kind of eyeballing things right here. But in either case, great way that they had told that story tonight. One of the biggest things that they were hyping up on Impact Wrestling, is this was their way to compete with the NBA Finals. Game 1 tonight against Heat and the Spurs was the signing of former UFC light heavyweight champion, Pride fighter, Quentin Rampage Jackson. And it was so funny because I was just kicking back and I was interacting with a select few of you guys. And shout out to you guys, by the way. I was private messaging a few of you on Twitter. And it was so funny because when we saw this go down, I couldn't help but look at the Twitter timeline for hashtag Impact Live. And it was just really, during that segment, as they kept hyping it up, they did it for a whole hour of hyping up Quentin Rampage Jackson making his debut, okay? And we finally get to that moment after an hour. Second hour, it kicks off with him. We finally see it, and I'm looking at the Twitter timeline, and there really wasn't that much buzz whatsoever. I mean, it was hilarious. You just think about all the press releases that was done announcing that he signed with TNA Wrestling, Spike TV, Bellator MMA for a multi-year deal. There's also going to see a 4-part little miniseries documentary done on him, and that he's also probably going to be doing his own little movie somewhere down the road. All this press that we see that was just coming out. ESPN even covering it for a hot moment. And here we are, this big moment, and I was just amazed with social media tonight. There really was not that much talk about him. Instead, it was about the freaking NBA Finals. And honestly, I just think that Impact Wrestling, I commend them tremendously because they wanted to try to have tonight's episode be somewhat strong as far as the ratings go. I'm sure they were very disappointed with Impact Wrestling's return to the old time slot. What was that, on May 30th, if I'm not mistaken? I believe that was last Thursday. And they probably wanted to get a home run this week. They probably wanted to try to see if they could get a 1.00 or above. They probably didn't want to look at another 80-something rating. So I commend them for that, but I just really question the timing of it because, against Game 1, a lot of people have been making plans for the NBA Finals. So, it's actually kind of amazing because most people that I talk to, unless you're that hardcore wrestling fan and, you don't miss your show worth a damn, then, yeah, you're probably going to check it out. But, most people that I know of personally that are into wrestling but are also into sports, especially when it comes to basketball, hell, they're going to put Impact Wrestling on the DVR so they can check out the basketball game. One could kind of say, well, couldn't you record a basketball game? But you know how it's going to be when you go back to work the next day or you go to school. Everybody's going to be talking about that game. You want to be in the loop. You want to be in on the conversation. You don't want to sit up and go, I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to check it out on my DVR. And then you're going to be yelling at the TV, keeping in mind that it's recorded. It's not live. It just doesn't have the same feel to it. But, I like how they tried to revisit 1998 with Quentin Rampage Jackson in the ring, and we saw the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle get in there, come at him face-to-face, and basically told him, when you're ready. And I can't remember it live from live. It was just so silly, but basically Quentin Rampage comes in the ring and he's talking about wanting to take on the very best in Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling. Kurt Angle comes out and he tells him, you're looking at the toughest and the best wrestler in the company, and they just do this stare down, and Kurt Angle tells him, look, when you're ready, you come find me and we're going to do this. We're going to dance, basically. And we just see them shake hands aggressively, and there's just that look, and I just couldn't feel totally invested into it. I mean, And this is coming from somebody that definitely checks out a good UFC, a good MMA match. I love MMA, but for me personally, this just rubbed me the wrong way. It just really kind of felt like we were watching a watered-down version of Mike Tyson meeting Stone Cold Steve Austin for the very first time on Raw back in 1998. It was just a weak, watered-down version of that. And I also couldn't help but say to myself, okay, it's the wrestler taking on the MMA fighter. Okay, so basically we're going to get Brock Lesnar versus Triple H 4. That's really what had spoke out to me in large volumes. I know that kind of stings a little bit, and I know we got some hardcore Rampage Jackson fans that's out there, and they probably want to stick up for their boy. But, let's read to you guys some comments that had came in, and this is actually courtesy of the YouTube video that we had posted, where we wanted you guys to share your reactions on what you thought of Rampage Jackson joining TNA Wrestling. And there's a great amount of comments that had came in from you guys on YouTube. If you guys wish to comment on it, you didn't get the chance to do so, you can still do so. We may revisit it again, possibly this weekend or next week. You can find it at our YouTube channel at the RCWR Show. And the name of the video is Rampage Jackson joins TNA Wrestling and Bellator MMA. And let's show some love to Eric Van Tassel. He brought up some very valid points. He says, let's pick it up right here. I do not get all the PR and excitement over this signing. You would think, by the way TNA, Bellator, and Spike were acting, that they signed away a big name from the WWE or a UFC champion like John Jones or Anderson Silva, when in fact they actually got a washed-up old guy who is injury-prone, who is an injury-prone MMA fighter whose best days are long behind him. You just don't get this signing for either TNA or Bellator and all the money they are paying him. Coming off 3 losses in MMA, Rampage has not looked good in years, even in his wins. His last knockout in MMA was 5 years ago, not to mention he has 2 bad knees and countless other injuries in the last few years, and never wrestled a day in his life. Yeah, real big signing. Rampage has not pulled in big numbers in MMA in years. His last few pay-per-views have been average. He has not been a star or a top fighter in the UFC for years now. The last time he was on top in MMA rankings was at 205, and that was 3 years ago. In his last comment, he says, all in all, you are 100% spot on in your assessment. TNA gets these aging, No, I'm reading it right. I'm reading it verbatim, and I'm trying to see if I can clean it up for him, but let's just have at it. TNA gets these aging on the downside of their career X-stars from other sports and try to pawn them off on us fans as the next big thing or act like they signed some huge superstar. Most fans and analysts who follow and cover both wrestling and MMA don't get this signing at all, and especially the money they are paying for someone like Rampage. What they should have done is sign Josh Barnett, a MMA star who has wrestled for years in Japan. Thank you for those comments, Eric. And let's show some love to Wrestling Titan, who says, let's get real, guys. Rampage will not really be featured on TNA Wrestling as a wrestler. I doubt they'll get more than 5 appearances out of him in the next year. Most of his commitment and focus will be on the reality show and Bellator. Also, Hogan really needs to step aside and give people like Mac Morgan time on TV. Otherwise, he could easily pack up and go to WWE. Let's see if we can read a couple of more comments for you guys. This comes from Metal Ruler 45, who had a bit of a unique approach to covering this whole matter. No matter who they signed, people were going to rip on it. If it was Batista or Austin, they would say that they are too old, or if it was MVP or John Morrison or more ex-WWE mid-card wrestlers, they'd crap on it. If it was an indie guy, he ain't a big name, so people were going to bitch no matter what. And let's see if we can get one more comment for you guys. Let's go back to Metal Ruler one more time, who says, King Mo is not a talker. He has no personality. Rampage has a ton of personality and charisma. His promos alone would be far more entertaining than seeing Wes, Garrett, Devon, Robbie matches. I think wrestling fans forget that entertainment shows, websites like TMZ, are talking about this. He is there to draw more eyes on Impact. Sorry, but they can sign a ton of indie guys, but most people outside of wrestling don't care. They won't draw people, but Rampage can if used properly. What are your thoughts on that? You're more than welcome to post your comments on that video at YouTube. You can also chime in your thoughts by calling into the show. We'll have a few minutes to do so. You can call in at 646-478-3525. Once again, 646-478-3525. Other action that we had saw on Impact Wrestling tonight, we saw the beginning of a Bound for Glory tournament series where participants fought each other, and whoever won advanced into the BFG series. And in the first match, we saw Chavo Guerrero's take a loss at the hands of his good buddy and tag partner, Supermex Hernandez. Great match right there. Chavo, poor Chavo, but Hernandez advances to the BFG tournament. We saw Devon still ticked off over the fact that he lost his TNA television title at Slammiversary come out to call out Abyss. Well, you know, Abyss, Joseph Park, same damn guy, but in this case, he wanted a piece of Abyss. Joseph Park had came out, and he was still fuming over the beatdown that he had received at that pay-per-view, as he felt that he never got the proper chance to fight for the title, as it was his first opportunity at a title, and he wanted a little bit of revenge, and he did a nice leg takedown on Devon, and they were just brawling out for a little bit, but Devon ended up getting the upper hand on him physically until we heard the music of the monster Abyss. And Devon, he wanted him a piece of Abyss, but Abyss never came out. We just heard the music. Well, Devon would continue to take out his frustrations on Joseph Park, but would leave shortly afterwards, but not before he had busted open Joseph. And as always, when Joseph sees that crimson blood dripping from his body, he just starts to have a out-of-this-world experience. Well, later on during the night, we would see Mike Knox. About time they gave this guy something to do, as we were talking about this the last go-around of them not really utilizing him properly. We finally saw him and Devon. They were trying to get on the same page and try to figure out where the hell was Abyss, as they figured he had to be somewhere in the arena. And so they went on a little bit of a treasure hunt for Abyss. In the end, though, it was Abyss who had been watching them, stalking them throughout the night, and he attacked both of them, laid them out completely, and had a very cryptic message to Devon, saying that as far as the TNA television title goes, he's going to be taking that into the Abyss. Very interesting development right there. Next match that we saw was Samoa Joe defeat Robbie E. That was another Bound for Glory tournament. Samoa Joe advances. Robbie E., I'm still remembering the same time last year. I got 5 points, bro. Oh! I hope that Robbie E. brings that back this year. I was just really loving that whole thing that he had going on there last year. It's like he was so happy with his 5 points. I've never seen somebody so damn excited before in my life over 5 measly points and being in last place. It's like, okay, you go, Robbie E. You go, man. but hilarious stuff right there. What other action did we see? We saw a great six-man tag match as James Storm and his partner Gunner, the new tag team champions, they teamed up with the new X Division champion Chris Sabin. They defeated the team of Kenny King, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. And Chris Sabin had a sweet spot in that match towards the end as he did a devastating DDT to Kenny King to pick up the victory for his team. That was just, somebody's probably going to make a GIF image out of that, and they damn well should, because that was just a ridiculous DDT. I mean, you talk about the hang time that Sabin had applied with that DDT. That was just ridiculous. We actually did end up seeing Mickie James and the beautiful and the lovely Velvet Sky in a little bit of a exchange backstage as Mickie James was apologizing for not coming to Velvet Sky's aid last week as she was being attacked by Gail Kim, and seemed like just when she was about to come in for the rescue, out of nowhere, the beautiful and the blondacious Taryn Terrell came in. And Velvet, she reluctantly accepted the apology, but she told her, look, okay, I'm pretty much good to go now, so how about you and me? We go on ahead and we have our rematch for that Knockouts title. Mickie James, however, looks like she's kind of playing a little bit of cat and mouse as she found an excuse to make her exit, as tonight she had a match already booked against somebody else. And that somebody else was the beautiful and the lovely, red-headed Taylor Hendricks. Man, that girl is 23 years old. And to hit that Commodore song, see the brick, house, mighty, letting it all hang out. She was just, I can't believe that girl's 23 and she's shaped like that. That is just ridiculous. She is just awesome. But, as far as her in-ring performance goes, I must admit, and I was paying very close attention to Hayler this go-round, she seemed to actually hold her own fairly well against Mickie James. I was actually quite pleased with this outing. I know when we first saw her do the whole TNA gut check thing, she was just really, really wet behind the ears, but she had such a cute look, and she had such an inspirational story that just really made you feel invested into her, and we all could be in agreement when we first saw her on gut check. She showed little signs of promise, but she definitely needed to go get some more training. And I know we had saw her one more time. I believe it was on I'm trying to think back, I believe it was the gut check special for Thanksgiving that they did last year, where all the TNA gut check winners, they made their return. We saw her again in action, and I believe in that case she had took on Tara, who at the time I believe was still holding the Knockouts title, and she seemed to have showed a little tiny bit of improvement at that point, and now we saw her again tonight, and it seems like when you compare her in-ring ability with Mickie James tonight to what we had saw of her back in November, it seems like she's definitely improved dramatically. I think she's almost ready, and man, when she is ready, they definitely have right there, if they do it right, they definitely have a Mickie James, Christy Hemme all rolled up in one. They got something good going on right there with her. They just need to continue to invest the time. And she's young. I mean, she is young. The sky is the freaking limit right now. They can just continue to take their time with her, quite honestly. Other than that was pretty much it for Impact Wrestling tonight. Overall, despite the fact that I personally, probably like many other people, kept channel surfing, just kept going back and forth to the NBA game, trying to see what the heck was going on over there, I thought that overall this was actually a fairly decent episode, and I like how they put the little plans into checking out Impact Wrestling for next week, as, let's not forget, let's recap. We got Sting. He's going to be coming back. He's going to address his loss to Bully Ray. He's probably also going to address the fact that nobody had came out on the TNA roster to help him when he was taking on the entire Aces and Eight stable. And bear in mind what we had said earlier this week. I believe we said it on the Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show. That right there is a storyline in itself. You're probably going to have a situation where a lot of guys on the TNA roster, they looked at what was going on with Sting and the countless opportunities that he's had with the TNA title, and they probably did not like the fact that, you know, this guy kept getting opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and they probably really just love the fact that, hey, he's in a position where he can finally be just out of the picture totally. Well, shoot, maybe I shouldn't help him because that'll put me in a position where I can just slide on in. And I think that's probably the general conscience of a lot of people. Or it can go in a different direction. And depending on if the TNA writers want to go that route, it could be a case where all the wrestlers that were supposed to come out and help Sting, maybe they had got told by a little birdie to not come out, that Sting had to do this one, and he had to do it all alone. And then you kind of have Sting play a little bit of an investigation to try to figure out who was it that gave the order to the wrestlers to not come help him in that main event match. So you have two little different scenarios that could play out right there. Also, we're going to be seeing some tag team action as the team of Gunner, James Storm. They'll be taking on Daniels and Kazarian. It'll be a Bound for Glory tournament match. Winning tag team will advance into the BFG series. Sounds a little weird, I know, but that's exactly how they're laying it out. We will also see a rematch from the Slammiversary pay-per-view as Kurt Angle will be taking on AJ Styles. Winner of that will advance into the BFG tournament. So, great setup for Impact Wrestling for next week, and it should definitely be a damn good one. As far as TNA Wrestling news goes, in case you all might have noticed tonight, Todd Kinley, he was not there doing his thing at commentating with Taz Mike Tenay, as now it looks like it is going back to the traditional team of Taz and Mike Tenay doing their usual shack, their usual little comedic, whatever you want to call it, not really calling matches, just talking about other stuff. Well, it turns out Todd Kinley had got dismissed. That's a nice way to dress it up. You know what really went down. He got dismissed at the Slammiversary pay-per-view, and it was kind of jacked up how he found out, as he was actually informed at Slammiversary that that night would be his last match calling as part of the broadcasting team. So it looks like TNA Wrestling is going to be going in a different direction. And I know there's definitely some of you guys that are a little bit on the fence when it came to Todd Kinley. There are some of you that really felt that between the three commentators, he definitely was the one that tried to call the action. And there are others of you that just didn't like the fact that some new guy just came on in and just really seems kind of out of his place there. And I was pretty much vocal on that. I'll definitely go on record one more time. And I'll say Todd Kinley, he did have his moments where it was kind of nice to hear somebody actually paying attention to what the hell was going on in the ring. But I still felt that he just really had no business being with Tenay and Taz. He just really kind of seemed out of his element right there, and maybe that's just because of what was really going on with Taz. I wish we really could have got to see more of just Tenay and Todd just do their thing, but you know, there's only but so many months you can experiment with a new broadcast guy, and honestly, this guy's had so many opportunities. He's been on board. I thought he came on board earlier this year. He's actually been on board with the company commentating since October of last year, and I guess for upper management, he really didn't show any signs of improvement, so they decided to get rid of him. Or this could be a case right here where you kind of got to go under the surface, and maybe it was a case where, hey, we had signed Rampage Jackson. We need to make a few cuts. Who can we get rid of? And poor Todd Kenley was probably one of those people. So just a little food for thought right there, you know. But as far as other TNA wrestling news goes, it's pretty much been a relatively quiet week, and not really too much has been going on. Everybody's just been tripping over the Rampage signing. Not really anything else newsworthy as far as TNA goes. But definitely we got to send some birthday shout-outs before we forget. Looks like ODB and Gunner, they're celebrating birthdays today. ODB, she is 35 years old. Gunner, he is 31 years old. So happy birthday to both of those. And if you want to get in your birthday wishes to them, you can do so right now. Just hit them up on Twitter. They're very easy to find on there. Kid Cash was recently spotted. He did an interview, and he was talking about his concerns over his release from TNA. And he had some very interesting words to say, and take this for what it's worth. He had talked about how he feels TNA is with regards to being compared to WCW. And this is a direct quote right here. They just keep recycling the same people over and over and don't push the ones who have actual talent in the locker room. And unless they drastically raise their budget, they'll continue on the same path. They don't pay like any other IT company. ECW paid me twice the amount as TNA ever did, and that's the truth. He also had some very choice words to say for smaller wrestlers getting a bad rap. Direct quote again. I think that in the beginning, TNA showed the true talent the smaller guys had, which made the show. Then somewhere in the last 10 years, that shifted. As far as talent, we have it. With bigger guys, there will be 1 out of 100 who have actual working ability. The thing I do know in this business is if the promoter wants you over to sell seats, you will be. That's up to the promoter. Politics is so crazy that if one person in the booking committee doesn't agree, they don't waste time and shit-can it. There's no hashing it out or working on it. It's just done. They may bring it up again, but until that one pushes it, you'll be that shelf wrestler. So very interesting words from Kid Cash right there. And that's a guy that's been around the world, and he's seen it all. He's done it all. He's even doing the whole MMA thing. You know, honestly, I think he's really speaking with great sincerity and also concern for the TNA promotion right there. All right, I want to go on ahead, and I want to take a very brief commercial break. We come right back. I got to let you guys know about a cool special guest that's going to be stopping by the show this Saturday on the weekend edition, and give you some quick heads up on what all you can expect. So we'll take just a brief commercial break. We'll come right back, and we'll give you those programming notes. You're checking out Impact Showdown Radio, coming at you June 6, 2013. 15 minutes before the midnight hour on the East Coast. We will be right back.
Being married is one thing, but being married to Bret Hitman Hart, former 5-time World Wrestling Entertainment Champion and WWE Hall of Famer, is another. In her vibrant and honest memoir, Bret Hart's ex-wife, Julie Hart, mother of his 4 children, chronicles the ups and downs of balancing life with a superstar husband in the circus world of professional wrestling. Beginning with Julie's teen years and her early romance with Bret, the story follows the couple's marriage, children, divorce, and continued presence in each other's lives. Vividly detailed and humorous, This authentic account of Julie's life as an individual wife, mother, sister, and friend is told by quite arguably the Hitman's toughest opponent and greatest ally of all time. Pick up your copy of Hart Strings by Julie Hart right now at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and TightRopeBooks.com.
If you were paying attention to that little promo there, that kind of gives you a little bit of a hint on what's going to be going down this weekend on the RCWR show. But in case you didn't get it, hey, babies, we got you covered. So this Saturday, yours truly is going to be kicking back, doing a one-on-one interview with the beautiful and the lovely Julie Hart, ex-wife of Hitman Bret Hart, WWE Hall of Famer, 5-time WWF/E champion. We're going to be talking about her new book, Hart Strings, that chronicles the life and times of her relationship with the Hitman, leading into their marriage, children, divorce. We're going to be going all over the place on that show. It's going to be a really great, insightful, in-depth interview. If you've checked out previous interviews that we've done, you know it's going to be a damn good one. So make sure you join us for that this Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. We're even going to be giving away a copy of her book, Hart Strings, to a lucky listener. I'm going to try to see if maybe I can up the ante a little bit and see if maybe I can give away a few more books, but I know for a fact we're definitely going to be giving away one copy. But keep your fingers crossed. Maybe we can see if we might be able to hook up 2-3 lucky people. So make sure you check that out. If you're a fan of Bret Hart, a fan of the Hart family, just the name itself, that's definitely an interview that you definitely want to check out. It's going to be pretty badass. And, that's pretty much it. Join us for that. And cruise control over here, for those of you that are a little bit curious what's going on with that NBA game, well, it is now in the books. Stick a fork in it, baby. It is done. I have your score as follows. Looks like the Spurs, like a thief in the night, they took the win in Game 1 over the Heat, 92-88. I repeat, Spurs beat the Miami Heat 92-88. Those of you curious what's going on with Game 2, you guys will be able to catch that this Sunday, June 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. So make sure you make some time, put it to the side, check that game out. All right, let's go ahead and let's open up the phone line. I see we got one person that wants to chime in their thoughts. You could kick on back right before we go off the air and sign off as well on what you had thought about Impact Wrestling tonight, or if you still want to talk about the Slammiversary pay-per-view, you can do that as well. Number to call, 646-478-3525. Once again, 646-478-3525. Let's go right at it. 787, you're live on the air, my friend.
Hi, Mr. Lee. How are you?
Hey, Robert. How you doing, buddy?
Fine. I think tonight's Impact was really nice. They tried, they throw the sink at it just to have the viewers not turning to the NBA game.
I agree with you. 100%. I'm curious. Let me pick your brain for a minute. This week now, we've seen WWE and TNA go head to head with the NBA. I hate to make you pick a flavor, but just thinking about the two brands and how they handled going against the NBA this week, who did you think did a better job?
I can fairly speak about WWE because I don't watch their product, but I know TNA did try. They put even a ladder match for free on free TV.
True.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. And it wasn't no 10-minute match either. It was at least it felt like a 25-minute match. Yeah. What else did you like about Impact tonight? What did you think about the Rampage Jackson thing?
I'm happy. I'm happy because I know he used to be a big deal on MMA, but let's see. I'm not gonna, jump on a bandwagon and call like the greatest signing on earth, but let's wait and see how he learns to wrestle. And he's gonna have the first program with Kurt Angle. You're not with a rookie. You're with one of the greatest wrestlers ever. So.
Mm-hmm. And no doubt, Kurt Angle is probably going to have a huge hand in training him.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would think. I mean, that's got to be a no-brainer. Kurt Angle get involved with his training. I know you had only saw part of Slammiversary when we did the post show. Did you get a chance to check it out, all of it?
Yeah, I saw the whole pay-per-view. I saw it like Tuesday night. I did get to saw it. I'm still like 8.5 to the 8 range. It was one thing that I noticed. It was a complete show. You have like tag team matches. You got women's wrestling. You got comedy. You got spot matches. You got kind of a hardcore attitude there. Main event. Some people say like it's overbooking, but it's the same stuff that you get to see on the Attitude Era. If you watch like WrestleMania 15 or WrestleMania 14 or 16, you will see all types of overbooking. So if you enjoyed it then, you should enjoy it now.
Okay. All right, that's a good rating. What do you make of what's going on with Sting there? I like how he put the tweet out that basically nobody helped him on Sunday. Message received loud and clear. Where do you see that ending up going?
I think it should end up back to Mark Morgan, like Mark Morgan having being like the locker room leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's either gonna end up like with Man Morgan, or it's gonna end up like Sting going back to his crowd persona, back to his WCW days. But let's wait and see. I hope they have a quick payoff, because that's one thing that I don't like about current TNA. They drag too long the storylines. In comparison to the Vince Russo day, that you have like lots of stuff happening on Impact, that's one thing that they they took it from one extreme to the other. Like 2007, the program was too fast. Now it's moving way too slow.
I agree with you on that. Well, shoot, Robert, we appreciate the comments as always, buddy. I like Robert. Robert's a good cat. Thank you so much, buddy. And definitely call back in again next go round. And to answer your question, I just saw what you said on Twitter. To answer your question, we were putting all attention on the live show for YouTube, and I was fiddling around with it for hours, like at least 4 hours, even 15 minutes before the show, and it was just having like the weirdest freaking hiccups, and I just wanted to keep it simple tonight, because that's just me. Sometimes I like to keep it simple, but we'll bring the chat room back. Don't worry, it'll come back next week. And looks like one of our tweets had got favorited by Taylor Hendricks. And special shout out to Taylor Hendricks. She's one we tried to get on the show a good while back, but I think, and we understand her position, given the fact that she signed with TNA Wrestling. She doesn't want to kind of do an interview where she kind of gets put into a little bit of a bad spot. I think she kind of did a little bit of homework on our show, because, unfortunately, we will ask questions that most people won't ask on their shows, especially if it's kind of, if we get that green light, it's okay to ask this question, then anything goes, and usually, I kind of take advantage of that, but without embarrassing them. But she's been a tough cookie to try to get onto the show. But I'm gonna try to see if I can maybe charm her and see if we can get her on the show. But yeah, good comments right there, Robert. I appreciate that as always, buddy. And that's going to do it, man. I think we did a damn good show tonight. I'm a little disappointed that we weren't able to do this for you guys with the live stream, but hey, man, hopefully next week Google will have its stuff fixed, as, sometimes it can be a pain in the ass. Now we have to go on ahead and we have to remix this for our YouTube audience. So before it gets any late, we're going to go on ahead and we're going to do that right now. But thanks to all of you that had called into the show, whether it was to call in like Robert and chime off your thoughts, or it was to kick on back and just listen. We appreciate that. For any episodes that you might have missed, check us out in the downloads, Stitcher, iTunes. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. You can also kick on back and check us out on YouTube, as we do a lot of exclusives on there, audio enhanced, remix versions. Check us out at the RCWR Show. If this was your first time checking us out tonight on Blog Talk, welcome. We hope you had enjoyed the show. And if you did, then go that extra step further and look us up at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. You'll see our profile page. There'll be a follow button. Click on that. You'll receive alerts for upcoming shows. Always stay in the loop with us. Everybody, I hope you have a good jump start to your weekend. We will see you guys this Saturday for our interview with Julie Hart. We're going to be talking all things Bret Hart, wrestling, whole 9 yards, anything goes on there. Check us out for that. It's going to be a damn good show. Everybody, be safe, be kind to one another. Take care.